doing stuff like this, do you find yourself on a spiritual or religious path, or do you see a puppy like that and go, "There's no way, if there's a God, that could do this"? Or I mean, what?
No,
If you don't want to answer that, that's
no.
okay, but
I have no problem with that at all. Honestly, I'm pretty much an atheist. I'm open minded to a lot of things. I'm also interested in a lot of different religion, just as a informational kind of thing. Not really for myself, but I'm also not going to shun anybody from their beliefs ever. I want to make sure that everybody lives what they want to do. Whether it's Christianity or Judaism or even Satanism. There's a lot of people who come in here who follow the Luciferian path or the Satanist path and things like that, and a lot of them are very happy. I also have a lot of Christians come through here and also very, very happy. As long as you're happy, that's the bottom line. But as far as myself goes, when I'm looking at these things, no, I don't really think about that honestly all too much, just because that's not where my head goes.
Sure.
I mostly think about, what life this puppy or lizard or, snake or even human could have led. That's usually where my head goes, thinking about what could have been and what was before, A lot of the ones we get are pet store deaths. I run to pet stores and pick up their dead. They hold things in the freezer for me so that way they're not going in the trash. Unfortunately, things do die at pet stores, but we want to make sure that they can keep going on and not be wasted in the trash.
so you're extending the life of, well, once again, I'm lost for words. You're extending the spirit or the vessel of the animal.
Yeah.
Beyond death, rather than just being a piece of trash.
Exactly. And it's, a lot of places will tell you, oh, we cremate everything we do. They don't. It's not cost effective, unfortunately. And it's a nice sentiment. People who are trying to buy, lizards or puppies or kittens and things like that, who might not be thrilled with how their facilities are, it's a nice sentiment for them to kind of feel warm and fuzzy about it if they do pass away. But the reality is that most of the time they go in the trash. And I want to make sure that doesn't happen. It's a waste. There's ways to, even in taxidermy, a lot of taxidermists don't use bones, they don't use organs, they don't use fetuses, things like that. And that's where we come in. We make sure that we can use every piece, make sure you use every part.